You wouldn't know it to look at it, but this lonely outback railway station was the site of a significant World War II moment. This is Terowie, a tiny town in the mid-north of South Australia where time seems to stand still. Today I explore the historic town of Terowie. It's a town with a dark past and, according to the locals, there are plenty of ghosts. And Terowie's story starts here at the railway station. In 1880, this station was built primarily because in that direction, going south, you have broad gauge railway lines, and in the opposite direction, heading north, you had narrow gauge. And so when trains came down from either the north or the south, they had to stop here, and everything that was on that train, people, livestock, goods, everything had to be transported from one train to the other train before it could head on its journey. So Terowie became this massive railway stopover point with more than 2,000 people here. Terowie became a bustling break of gauge town until 1937, when the broad gauge railway line went through Port Augusta and Port Pirie, and it was not really needed anymore here. Trains continued, but ultimately in the 1970s, that was the end of the line for Terowie, and the town suddenly became almost a ghost town. These days, there's about 150 people live here. So I've come to Terowie to explore some of the history of this place. It's a town you've probably never heard of, and it's a town where time seems to have just stood still. But in 1942, Terowie hit world headlines. In February 1942, Japanese invaded the Philippines and overwhelmed the US troops that were there. American General Douglas MacArthur was forced to flee. He took a plane to Darwin and then a train, ultimately through here at Terowie on his way to Adelaide and then Brisbane. And it was here that a famous moment occurred. MacArthur was asked about his retreat from the Philippines, and this is where he defiantly said the line, "I shall return." That line went worldwide, and it became a significant moment in the Pacific War in World War II. 2 years later, he did return, and the Americans triumphed, pushing the Japanese out of the Philippines. So what's it like living in such a tiny historical town? There's one general store which also doubles as the post office. I'm coming in to find out. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
What's your name?
Leanne.
Hi, I'm Terry.
Hi.
Leanne, you've lived here all your life?
Yes, I have.
What's it like living here?
Oh, if you love the quiet lifestyle, this is the place to be.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Do you get lonely?
No. There's always plenty of things to do around here, so yeah.
So how many people live in this town now?
Oh, I'd say around about the 100 to 110, maybe 120. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider moving?
Oh, look, it's, that question gets asked a lot, but, I'd much rather be here than live in the city any day, so.
Why is that?
Oh, the city life's just too crazy.
Yeah.
So, out here, everyone sort of knows everyone, it's just quiet and, it's just lovely.
Peaceful.
So, yes, very peaceful. So,
awesome. Thanks for talking, Leanne.
No worries, thank you.
It's so incredibly quiet here. All of these shops are boarded up and shut. There's basically the one general store, which is also the post office, and an information centre, and that's all that's open. Seriously, I've time warped back to the 1890s. This is so strange. But when I say strange, I mean strange, you know, in a really cool way. Oh, okay, maybe not. That's a bit creepy. So there are two hotels in Terowie, this one and then the double-storey one just up the road. But neither of them are hotels anymore, they're private residences. This one was built in 1874 and it was actually the first building here in Terowie. Wouldn't you know it, first building, it's got to be a pub. But then with 2,000 people in town going off on a Saturday night, you'd probably need a few hotels. Keep them all happy. Look at this beautiful old home. It's sandstone with red brick corns, which was very common in the 1880s. And you've got the brick house, but then behind that is a timber lean-to, which would have been the kitchen and maybe the laundry or something. Everything's old and it's like it's buckled under the weight of time. So if you're wanting to have a look at some of the museums that are here, just go over to the information centre. They're really happy to unlock it and let you in and have a wander through. So I've come into one of their museums and look at this. I feel like I'm in an emporium from the late 1800s. This is fantastic. Now, if you hear any sort of strange noises while I'm in here, I've been told there's a ghost, old Frank, who tends to frequent the other end of the store. I'm a complete history nerd, so I love places like this. Wow. Wow, look at these old shoes. This is what people wore in those days. Is it? Oh, no, no, no. No, that's like cast iron. Oh, it's heavy. Cast iron molds or something from which you make the shoes. That's cool. And here is the result. It looks very 1920s. So this is where Frank hangs out. Apparently he's a bit cranky sometimes. So if anything goes flying through the air, you know he's here. This is the Pioneer Museum, and I've just been let in, and I'll just show you what happened. I actually got a genuine fright from that. So originally this was actually the bank, and that right there, very solid, is the original bank counter. Lots of photos of important people from the past. I don't know who any of them are, but I do know something, and I'm going to show you this. That there is Bob the dog. Who's Bob? Okay, Bob was basically a stray dog that got adopted by one of the railway men. And when he used to go to work, Bob would whine and whin, so he ended up bringing him to work with him on the railways. Bob ended up being very familiar with railways and just jumping on trains and going all over the place. He just hopped from one train to another, to another, to another. Ended up going all over South Australia, even interstate sometimes. But he'd always come back here. What an incredible story. There's that's one of the original paintings of Bob the dog. Apparently there's a statue in Peterborough also of Bob the dog. The train travelling dog. How cool. I'm finding as I'm travelling around and going to these really small towns that people are really happy to share their history. They're very proud of their towns and they're really happy to let you know all about the history of the town, and that's really awesome. And I'm also told that a lot of these old buildings have spooky spirits in them. This one apparently has a couple of cranky people. Why are all the ghosts in this town cranky? I don't know. But you got Cranky Frank in the other one and a couple of cranky spirits in here. And there's a few other buildings I'm going to tell you about in a minute that also apparently have ghosts. This town has a bit of a dark history. And like a lot of these old buildings in this town, I'm told there's a spirit that's here, a little boy that met some sort of unfortunate accident here and is still here sometimes. So like I say, if you hear any rattles and bangs, it may just be the wind or it could be something else. So this is the Institute. When the town has gatherings or events or whatever, this is where they have it. So it might be Christmas parties. Apparently they have Halloween. They have a Halloween gathering, and I'm guessing there might be a few uninvited guests that just seem to roll up. There's Emma or Emily spirit that lives in here, and they reckon she's up in the projector room. Maybe she was a film buff, I don't know. This beautiful old stage. Oh, this is lovely. Now every time I walk past the Institute, I'm looking upstairs in case there's a scary face poking out through the window. Maybe it's not surprising that there's so many spirits in some of these buildings, because Terowie kind of does have a bit of a dark past too. In 2005, I think it was, a local teenager killed a homeless person and stuck his remains in the fireplace or in the flue. He ended up being found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in jail. There's a story I found about a woman who basically went insane with the isolation and loneliness here back in the 1890s, I think it was. And she tragically slit the throat of her 3-month-old baby and then slit her own throat. And the husband came back from work to find such a grisly scene. No wonder there's so many spirits in this town.
Your love is strong for him.
So many galahs in this town. They're flying around everywhere and screeching. So a lot of these old buildings are now private residences. I've come to what was the old police station, and I've met Tim, who actually lives here now. It's his home. G'day, Tim.
G'day mate, how you going today?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, no.
What's it like living in an old police station?
You couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like home. And we love it here.
Yeah.
Nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, people stick to themselves.
Yeah.
No, it's good, it's good.
You like that? How long have you been in town?
Oh, we've been here about 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And what brought you here?
The peace, the quiet.
You can't beat it, can you?
No, you can't. No, and the company's really good here too.
Yeah.
So,
Excellent.
No, we enjoy it.
And have you got old police cells out the back?
Absolutely, yeah, we got the 3 jail cells up at the back.
It's not every house that's going to have police cells in the backyard, but Tim's does. So it's a really quiet town. There's only a handful of people here. So Tim, what do you guys get up to on a Saturday night? What do you do for fun?
Oh, pretty much we just get out the bush, out the scrub out here at Mulga and go out four-wheel driving and
Yeah.
a few beers and
Yeah.
a few laughs, a bit of a fire and good
Bit of-
feed.
Bit of camping? And,
Absolutely, yeah. Bit of hunting,
yeah.
good fun.
What do you hunt?
There's a lot of goat out here, a lot of goats, so
And you come back and cook it up?
yeah, give it to the dogs. Yeah.
Do you eat it?
No, I don't like the smell of it, mate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goat curry is supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, no, I don't like the smell of it. Yeah.
I think it's this house behind me, if I got the right house. Built in 1885, this was Dr. Hill's eye surgery. But the old doctor didn't just fix people's eyes, he liked to experiment. Apparently he was well known for experimenting with rabbits' eyes to improve human eyes. Not quite sure how you do that, but sounds a bit squeamish to me. There's a little bit of a dark history going on in this town too. But to be fair, a lot of towns have a few skeletons in the closet, and Terowie's really no different from many towns. You can stay here at the old railway station. They're actually very generous here, and they just open it up, free camping for anyone that wants to come here. So I'm going to spend the night here at the historic railway station. I just want to say a really big thanks to Leanne and Gail from the shop and the information centre. They've just been a font of knowledge, and they've really helped in making this video, even though Gail didn't want to be on camera. I think Terowie's a really interesting town and definitely one worth exploring. I also think this town has tremendous tourism potential, which hasn't quite been met yet. Imagine if all of these little shops that are boarded up and closed now, if they were open, and if they were artist galleries and cafes and knick-knack shops. And that would be a reason for people to pull off the highway and come and spend some time and spend some money here in Terowie and help the town grow. I hope that happens. We'll see, maybe in a few years. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this journey of Terowie. I'll see you in the next one. And that continued right through to 1937, when finally something happened. I forget. After 60 hours on a train, the train stopped here because of the change of gauge. That's my phone.